What if your destiny was not to be feared, but to guide others? In the heart of the cold, snow-covered mountains, where the peaks touched the clouds and the wind sang a lonely song, lived a magnificent white wolf. He was a creature of silence and shadow, his fur as pure as the freshly fallen snow, and his eyes the color of a winter sky at dusk. He walked alone, a solitary figure moving through the vast, silent landscape. The other animals of the forest, the rabbits, the foxes, and even the bears, would scurry away at the sight of him. They feared him, not because he had ever shown aggression or danger, but because of the profound quiet that surrounded him. He was a mystery, a ghost in the daylight, and the unknown is often the greatest source of fear. He moved with a grace that seemed otherworldly, leaving almost no trace in the deep snow. His presence felt more than seen. The wolf didn't mind the solitude. It was all he had ever known. He accepted his fate as a lonely wanderer, forever misunderstood. One night, the world was wrapped in a furious blizzard. The wind howled like a mournful spirit, and the snow fell so thick and fast that it blurred the lines between earth and sky. The moon was a faint, hidden glow, offering no guidance. Through the roar of the storm, the wolf's sharp ears picked up a sound that didn't belong, a faint, desperate cry. It was a sound of pure terror and loneliness. His instincts, usually focused on survival, were now driven by a deep, unfamiliar curiosity. He followed the sound, his powerful legs carrying him through the deepening snowdrifts. The cries grew louder, more frantic. Soon, he found the source. A young deer, barely a fawn, was trapped in a small clearing, shivering and lost. The storm had separated her from her family, and now, cold and frightened, she was calling out into the unforgiving darkness, hoping for a response that never came. The wolf approached the clearing, his movements slow and deliberate, so as not to startle the already terrified fawn. He stepped out from behind a snow-laden pine tree, his white coat almost invisible against the swirling snow. The young deer's head shot up, her large, dark eyes widening with a new wave of fear. She scrambled backward, her small hooves slipping on the icy ground. She was trapped with the storm on one side and what she believed to be a predator on the other. Her entire body trembled, not just from the cold, but from the raw, primal fear of facing a wolf. The air between them was thick with tension, the only sounds being the howling wind and the deer's panicked, shallow breaths. The wolf simply stood there, his golden eyes soft and patient, waiting for her fear to subside just enough for her to see him, to truly see him for the first time. "Are you going to hurt me?" The young deer's voice was a fragile whisper, almost lost in the gale. The wolf shook his head, a gesture so gentle it seemed almost human. He took another soft step forward, lowering his head to appear less threatening. No, the wolf's voice was a low, soothing rumble, a sound that was surprisingly calm and warm against the cold chaos of the storm. I am not here to cause you harm. I heard your cries. The fawn watched him, her fear slowly being replaced by a flicker of confusion, and then a tiny spark of hope. The wolf continued, his voice carrying a kindness she had never expected. You are lost. The storm is too strong for a little one like you. I am here to guide you. The word guide hung in the air, a promise in the midst of the blizzard. It was a word that didn't belong with the image of a fearsome wolf, yet it felt true. The wolf turned and began to walk, his large paws pressing firmly into the snow. His steps were careful, patient, and slow, creating a clear, compacted path in the wild snow. He looked back, his gentle eyes encouraging the fawn to follow. With a moment of hesitation, she took a tentative step, placing her delicate hoof into the warm, firm track he had left for her. It was solid ground in a world of uncertainty. She followed, walking in his footprints, a small, trusting shadow behind the great white wolf. He led the way through the winding, treacherous paths of the forest, navigating the landscape with an instinct honed by years of solitude. He knew every tree, every rock, every hidden hollow. For the first time, his lonely existence had found a purpose, a connection to another living being. As they journeyed on, the blizzard intensified, its fury reaching a terrifying peak. The wind was a physical force, pushing and pulling at them, and the snow fell in a blinding, disorienting sheet. The cold was a biting, relentless enemy. The young deer was beginning to falter, her small body exhausted and her steps becoming weak. Seeing her struggle, the wolf stopped. He positioned himself to face the wind, letting his thick fur and strong body become a living shield. He stood over the fawn, protecting her from the harshest gusts, his warmth a small pocket of safety in the vast, cold wilderness. The fawn huddled against him, finding a comfort and security she never thought possible. In that moment, he was not a predator, he was a protector. He was a silent guardian, a steady presence against the rage of the storm, sharing his strength without a word. After what felt like an eternity, the howling of the wind began to soften, and the dense wall of snow started to thin. Through the clearing flakes, a line of familiar trees appeared. They had reached the edge of the deep forest. Just beyond the tree line, a group of deer stood anxiously, their heads raised, searching the storm. As the white wolf and the small fawn emerged from the trees, a collective sigh of relief and joy rippled through the family. They rushed forward, nuzzling their lost child with tearful eyes and soft calls. The mother deer looked at the wolf. Her eyes filled, not with fear, but with a profound, unspoken gratitude. The wolf had brought her child back from the brink of the storm. An act of kindness that defied everything she thought she knew about his kind. He simply watched the reunion, a quiet observer to the joy he had made possible. The family was whole again. The little fawn, safe and warm amongst her kin. The wolf took a step back, ready to disappear back into the silent mountains he called home. But before he turned to leave, he leaned down and whispered to the young deer, his voice a soft rustle like leaves in a gentle breeze. Strength is not found in making others fear you. True strength is in compassion. He then turned and vanished into the snowy landscape, his white form melting into the winter twilight. He was still a creature of silence, but he was no longer just a lonely wanderer. He was a guide, a protector. His destiny was not to be feared, but to be a beacon of kindness in a world that often forgot its power. Learn English with stories. Remember, your true destiny often grows on the path where kindness walks. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this story, please follow our channel for more.